The lesson here, Alonzo. The lesson here is don't try to cram an entire bagel down your gullet like a pelican when there's 15 seconds left before the on-air button hits.
I don't know if I'd have went pelican, but, I mean, you are from Florida. I've never actually seen a pelican before. I think I may have seen one in a zoo once, maybe.
Never seen a pelican.
Well, I don't think they're native to South Carolina.
They're
they could
all
be.
over Charleston.
Yeah, but
you're a beach guy. You're a big beach fan.
Yeah, I don't go where the rich people are, though. I can't afford it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Hello to you, and how do you do? Upstate South Carolina, great to be with you, America. Hola, world. I am Rob Brown, the Wizard of Wave, the Professor of Perfection, the great one himself. Lonzo is on the other side of the glass. What's up, Zoe?
I'll have fire effects later to the stream,
Because you're a wizard.
Because I'm a wizard. I don't want to do it as loud as he does because he keeps losing his voice. So,
Speaking of wizardry, how about the Boston Celtics last night? Just made Miami look silly. Here's a fun fact for you. Lonzo, 52% of the NBA games in the playoffs so far, 52% of them have ended in a point differential of 10 points or more. 52% of the NBA playoff games. Remember how good our opening series were? Remember how competitive they were? 50% of the NBA postseason series so far have been won by 10 points or more, but we're not done. 28% more than 1 in 4 NBA playoff games so far have been won by 20 points or more.
which would make you think that there are like a bunch of sweeps happening. There's only one. Because one-sided victories like that usually means that one team's more talented than the other, and they're doing it to them every single game. But like in Boston, Miami, they're just taking turns.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it Miami beat the hell out of Boston game 1? Boston beat the hell out of Miami game 2. Miami beat the hell out of Boston game 3. Boston, he beat the hell out of Miami game 4.
Miami's in trouble, though.
Miami's in trouble.
Because they are injured.
Yeah. They're getting
severely.
banged up. Well, hey, look, Marcus Smart was out last night, too, with a rolled ankle. Best defensive player in this series. So I bet the over on this one, which did hit. I don't know, man. I don't know. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It did not hit. I don't know what to make of this, right? Like, the NBA playoffs, look at that. By the way, look at that starting five, Lonzo. Lowry 3, Strus 0, Butler 6, Tucker 0, Adebayo 9. That's their starting five. I'm bad at math, Lonzo, but that's 18 points altogether.
Which would make you think it's fixed. Because those same guys killed it the game before.
Listen, you're not going to convince me that P.J. Tucker going 0 for 4, Max Strus going 0 for 6, Jimmy Buckets going, what was he, 2 for 7, 2 for 6? Like, you can't rig that. That's just a bad basketball game.
Wait.
They moved the basket up 6 inches or what?
You can't rig missing a shot? Yeah, you can.
That many?
If you're good enough to make that many, you're good enough to make it look like you couldn't make that many.
You think the players are doing it?
No, I think it's the New World Order. I am not saying it's fixed. I'm just saying some people could think that, for ratings, because this is the better series, and you want to see that series keep going.
Do you want to see the series that each team keeps losing by 20-plus points? I mean, is that thrilling? There was nothing. Listen, I'm an NBA guy. I'm all in for the NBA playoffs. But that game wasn't interesting last night. It wasn't compelling. It was just watching Brick City over and over.
Well, every other game, I think at least I'm going to get half of this right. At least, and then, oh, great, Rob's going to get both his guys in there. And then at least I get half this right. I get whoever wins the East, I'm rooting for them against what happens tonight. Because the sweep's going to happen tonight.
Get the brooms!
It is.
Get the brooms. Man, you thought about betting me on that too, didn't you? You thought about it.
Here's what I'm going to say. That was just a bit. I never, for one moment, because I would not be, that guy who would fall for it again.
No, of course not.
Actually, I showed a little wisdom there. I was really close though. I was very, very close. Just for show purposes.
For the fourth time at as many games in the East, one team blew out the other. 52% of NBA playoff games thus far have been won by 10 points or more. 28% of NBA playoff games so far have been won by 20 points or more. What is going on? Why?
I'm curious. How many people watched that game all the way through?
I did not.
I tried, and it's like, you know what? No, I can't watch it anymore.
Yep. I lost interest. The Heat missed their first 14 shots on Monday night. Through the first 9 minutes of game action, by the way, Lonzo, through the first 9 minutes of game action, the Heat had 1 point. 1 point. That is the fewest number of points through the first 9 minutes of a playoff game this century, Lonzo. 22 years of basketball in the 2000s, the lowest point total through the first 9 minutes of a playoff game. I don't know what to say. It was not compelling. It was not good. And as I've said, it takes a lot for me to come in here and harp on the negative of a game, right? Unless it's really bad. Because what I don't want to do is come in here and go, that game was not compelling, it was not entertaining, it was bad, it was boring, to the point that now nobody wants to tune in for Game 5. Right? We got a tied series. At the end of the day, if I'd have told you, Zoe, that Heat Celtics was going to be tied at 2 games apiece through Game 4, we both would have been like, yo, good series, right? How is a series that is split 2 games apiece as unappealing in Game 5 as this one is? I don't know, man. I don't need to watch a 24-point blowout every time these two teams get together, even if they are alternating blowouts. I don't know, man. Now, I'll tell you what, I got to give a lot of credit to the Celtics. Because with the exception of Victor Oladipo, who scored 13 of Miami's first 18 and 18 of their first 28 all off the bench on 5 for 7 shooting, Oladipo's teammates totaled 15 points on 18, 25, 33 through the first 2 quarters. I'm sorry to tell you that Victor Oladipo should not be your stud, man. He should not be your stud. The Celtics look better. They held them down. In Game 3, Miami scored 33 points off of 24 Boston turnovers. In the first half, Boston had 3 turnovers last night. But again, I'd like to say, oh, that's Boston. They fixed it. They're getting better. That means game number 5 is going to be a runaway Beantown win. But based on what I've seen in the series so far, I can't call that shot, right? I can't call that shot. There's every bit the same opportunity that Miami comes out in game number 5, puts up 90 in the first half, and never looks back. Like Boston did last night, and in game 2, like Miami did in games 1 and 3. What is going on in this NBA postseason? It started so uber competitive with lots of one-point games, and since then, it has been all downhill.
Yeah, what are the chances that all those guys that you were just talking about from Miami come out and do the same thing 2 games in a row? There's no way.
No. I would say the same as the chances that that Boston comes out and does the same thing, which in this postseason has not happened yet. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It went from an incredibly entertaining NBA postseason to just oodles of blowouts. And I don't understand why. I don't get why. How is this happening? I would like to be able to point. Here's the thing. I like basketball. I know basketball. I'm good at basketball. I would like to point at what went wrong yesterday, but what went wrong yesterday, Lonzo, was Miami could not hit a shot. Boston minimized the mistakes they made in Game 3. But what I cannot tell you is why it has been such an incredibly inconsistent series from both Miami and Boston. Both of these teams have been wildly inconsistent from game 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. We'll see. It has been the most inconsistent postseason. I'm trying to remember, like, you see blowouts happen in the postseason, right? You see teams run away with a couple of games here and there, especially if one team is dramatically different than the other. But this is the most bipolar series I can remember, right? If I showed you video of game 1, you'd be like, oh, damn, Miami in 5. If I showed you video of game 2, you'd be like, oh, man, Boston in 5. If I showed you video of game 3, Miami in 6. Game 4, Boston in 6. We'll see what happens for game 5. We'll see what happens in game 5. But I don't know, man. It's the most ridiculous. It's such a weird postseason, isn't it? You got a Warriors team taking on a Dallas team that beat the number 1 seed in Phoenix. Dallas handled the Phoenix Suns, right? I mean, handled the best team in basketball record-wise. On the flip side, Golden State felt like they had their hands full with the Memphis Grizzlies, ladies and gentlemen. The Grizz. Golden State felt like they had their hands full of the Grizz. Now, somebody pointed out the other day when you weren't here, Lonzo, that we forgot a couple of things. Number 1, Clay had been banged up, and that was really his first series back with consistent action. And B, game 1 against Memphis was the first game back for Steph Curry from his foot injury. So Golden State took a couple of days to warm up, and once they warm up, they ran the last 2 games off. But they had their hands full with the Memphis Grizzlies. The Dallas Mavericks absolutely handled the number 1 seed and best overall team in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns. And now here we are, the very next series, and Golden State's about to complete the sweep. The team that struggled on Memphis is about to sweep the team that handled the best team in the NBA from start to finish of the regular season. These playoffs are weird, dude. But I'll say this, Lonzo. I'm here for it because chalk playoffs can be boring, and we certainly did not get chalk.
Yeah, if we got just sweep after sweep after sweep, where would the fun be in that? Why would you even watch? At least with one of the series going on right now, Miami and Boston, who's going to win this? Who knows?
I wish I could tell you, but I have nothing to go off of.
And whoever wins, will they be healthy enough to take on what will probably be Golden State?
I don't think it's a probably anymore, right?
Still got one more game to play. I'm holding up. I got a little bit of hope.
Golden State
just a little bit.
has 4 to win 1. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be okay. But no, I can't. I do not know. I cannot break. In fact, not only can I not break down game 5, but I was texting back and forth last night with a couple of guys in the BetQL network of shows, right? Because I host the nationally syndicated Saturday show from 1 to 5 on the BetQL network that you can hear on WTPT3 HD radio right here in the Ville. And so I've kind of made friends with some of the other hosts that also, like I do, host nationally syndicated radio shows to talk sports gambling. And we ran a text thread with them last night while this game was going on. And as soon as it was over and the blowout was done, one of the guys says, so, what are we throwing in on for game 5? And my answer was, nothing. I'm not touching it, right? I'm not touching it. I'm not touching the over-under. I'm not touching players. That's right, because I'd have been, if nothing else, Jimmy Bucket showed up in this series, right? If nothing else, Jimmy Butler has been a beast, right?
Not last night.
Till he put up last night a grand total of 6, right? The one bet that I would have been comfortable taking in game 4 was over for Jimmy Buckets, because that's all he does is hit the over. I'd have gone, let me take the over. Let me take the over on Jimmy Butler. 6 points last night. What the hell? What? 6? Jimmy Butler is the best player between these two teams. Yes, he's better than Jason Tatum. Yes, he's better than Jaylen Brown. Yes, he's better than Marcus Smart. Jimmy Butler is the best player between these two teams. He put up 6 last night. BetQL host, what are we throwing down on in game 5? And the answer for the majority of us was, I ain't touching it. I want no part of it. You can play the pattern and take Boston, or take Miami and the cover. Take Miami, take the cover, take Jimmy Butler and the over and be fine. Or this series keeps doing what this series has done the whole time and just get more ridiculous. I don't know, man. We'll talk more about it later on in the show. Coming up on today's show, ladies and gentlemen, we are locked and loaded with stuff to get into. We've got the most recent update on the Deshaun Watson timeline. And his attorney has come out and put a couple of dates on when he thinks this thing might be done. And Deshaun might find out if he can get back onto the field this season or not. We talked yesterday for a while about the Josh Donaldson, Tim Anderson situation. Major League Baseball has handed down its discipline. We'll talk about that. Dan Snyder finally did the one thing that he would not be allowed to do to maintain his job as an NFL owner. I'm going to tell you what that is here in just a minute. And a former Jacksonville Jaguar has been cleared to, a former Clemson Tiger, well, spoiler alert, has been cleared to return to practice for an NFL team. And I'm excited to tell you who that is, except for I just did that.
Well, it's like one of 2 people. So, I mean.
Yeah, and one of them hasn't been injured. So it's definitely one of 1 people.
I was trying to help.
Yeah, I know, and I appreciate it. Listen, I owe it when I blow something up, all right? I owe it to myself. I own it when I blow when I
There could have been a blow dryer incident or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you never know.
Nope, I'm just an idiot. Travis Etienne cleared to practice. What do we expect out of him next year? All that and more coming up. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. You are listening to The Rob Brown Show. You're listening to The Fan Upstate.
Prisma.
Tell you about my friends at Prisma Health right here in the Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Prisma Health, the official healthcare provider for both the Tigers and the Gamecocks. Oh, can't you see? You need a new IP.
Email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most
That brought us
comprehensive
back on
privacy
stream right
protection
when you were
with
singing.
I don't care. I'm going to tell you guys right now.
privacy, simple
Lemon bread. Very underrated. Lemon bread is underappreciated.
Having an issue with ED might begin in the bedroom, but it doesn't end there. It can also do a number on your confidence. But know this, you're not alone. 30 million guys deal with
Let's
ED.
go! With a plate!
Is now more straightforward.
With a frisbee!
Than ever.
I'm a wizard!
Through him,
He's
you
a
can get
wizard.
generic form of Viagra, which uses the same active ingredient for just $3.
Morning, Skrilla.
Just go
Welcome
to
in, buddy.
Foods.com and chat with a medical provider.
Skrilla said, just saw a West Ham player pled guilty to slapping and kicking his cat caught on tape.
And it'll be shipped
What is wrong with folks? Would you stop pulling for a team or a guy if this happened to your team? I would stop pulling for the guy.
follow-up visits with medical providers.
The team's a harder decision,
Or your
right?
money back. To get started today,
I guess it would.
foods.com/radio.
I would have to see how the team handled it, right? But like, let's be honest.
FORHIMS.com.
Every one of our teams has had a guy do something that we're not cool with and let them get off the hook for it. Like if you said no, I wouldn't support a team anymore. You can't watch sports anymore, right? I know the Saints had a player a number of years ago, defensive end, that was charged with domestic violence for dragging his either girlfriend or wife down the street by her hair. And his court case was that his argument was that she was like beating the hell out of him. And then his best way was to like grab her by the hair and grab her to the ground. And then he was just trying to get someone to get her away from him. But nobody else saw it. So like, obviously it was her word, his word. And this guy went on to ultimately become like a figurehead of the organization. And it was probably one of the first times that I had like a genuine like test of conscience. My conscience is tested daily.
His noggin, his brain is just I don't know.
official MLB podcasts for every single team.
With Locked On Sports and a lot more.
Get everything you need for baseball season with the biggest in baseball broadcasting on the Odyssey app.
Listen at home, at work, or on the go.
Listen on the Odyssey app. Search the Fan Upstate.
Kind of don't hate it.
Yeah, I only play it every once in a while because I don't want it to get banned.
I'm gonna get banned.
So you never know. Someone may go, that doesn't exactly fit the format, but you know. Sometimes you just need to dance in the studio, dance in your car, dance in your office, whatever.
Welcome back. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Warriors, Mavericks tonight as we continue with the NBA discussion. Let me tell you how I know it's over, ladies and gentlemen. Lonzo has predicted the sweep. Now, it's not just that Lonzo has predicted the sweep, because a lot of people have predicted the sweep, but it's that Lonzo, in predicting the sweep, has predicted the sweep on behalf of, if not one of his least favorite NBA players. And Lonzo has predicted the sweep for one of his least favorite NBA players against one of his most favorite NBA players. And Lonzo, the king, ladies and gentlemen, of silver linings. All right? The ombudsman of optimism is Lonzo.
Wow. That was a good one.
I was working on that one for a minute. I'm like, I need a no word.
Yeah, and I'm not going to look it up because I've heard it before, but I have no idea how to spell it. So,
I don't even know if I used it correctly.
Doesn't
it just
matter.
started with an O. The ombudsman of optimism, Lonzo. The guy who searches through even the darkest of storms with tweezers and a microscope looking for the sliverest of silver linings. Not even Lonzo can find one in tonight's game. There is no way, ladies and gentlemen, that the Dallas Mavericks beat the Golden State Warriors tonight. There's no way it happens.
I have one correction on
Lucas scores 70.
I have one correction on what you said. Even if he scores 70, it won't be enough, unfortunately. It's not just about the player; it's the whole team. Okay, so that is my least favorite team, possibly.
I was gonna say on which side, but I'm assuming the Warriors.
Almost in all of sports. I got to go with Michigan number 1. I got to go with Clemson number 2,
Okay.
and they would be number 3.
So Zoe said third most despised athletic team in all of sports, ranking behind only Michigan and Clemson college athletics. Golden State checks in third, which is fair. Golden State is a team that I can completely understand why you would dislike them, right? Like, I understand why you would dislike Golden State.
Although I was on a show yesterday where it was said that they are the most liked team
No chance.
in the NBA. That's
No chance.
That's
Scratch that. Timeout.
That's on the show I was a show I was on yesterday. Yes,
I will say they are the most liked
but
team
I
in-
played nice because
Respect. They are the most liked team in the National Basketball Association by bandwagon fans, right? They've been to 6 of the last 8 NBA finals. They are the most loved team in the NBA by bandwagon fans, right? I get, and don't get me wrong. I'm not pro Golden State, but I'm not anti Golden State either.
I get the people around here who love Golden State because of Curry. I get that because he's basically a local product. I completely get that. I don't agree with you, but I get it.
Texter says, fan, Ohio State is definitely the most disliked team in the world. Go blue. By the way, you know where Steph Curry was born?
I used to know, but I blocked it out of my brain.
You shouldn't have. Akron, Ohio. He's one of you, Lonzo.
No.
O-H.
No, he's not.
I-O.
He's not.
O-H.
Did he live there?
I-O.
Did he live there?
I don't know. That's where he's from, though. How about Akron producing both
That's right. He and LeBron were like born like a couple miles away or something like that.
He was born in Akron, Ohio at Summa Akron City Hospital while his father was a member of the Cavs, but he grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina.
There you go.
Where his father spent most of his NBA career with the Hornets. Dell took him and Seth to his games where they shot around with the Hornets. Family relocated to Toronto when Dell finished out his career as a member of the Raptors. So there you go.
Shout out to the Michigan texter. By the way, they hate us both. So, I mean, just so you know that.
Anyway, look, I will be real with you. I don't get why people don't like Steph. I don't understand how Steph's not a likable guy. Lonzo, how is Steph not a likable guy to you? He's entertaining as hell. He's very good.
Well, there have been a lot of things that he's done, including chewing on that binky constantly to the point where and he threw it in the crowd. That's okay. Apparently that's okay. It's okay to get mad and throw something that you've been chewing on for an entire game into the crowd. You know how unsanitary that is? And I bet he could do that in the height of COVID and no one would have said anything to him because he's Steph Curry. His wife has said some things that's caused some controversy. He's just annoying. He just is. I mean, you sometimes you work with or someone just walks into the room and you go, I just don't like that guy or girl. I just, for no reason at all other than I don't see it. Okay. Yeah, he might be the best pure shooter of all time, according to some.
Me.
But he gets away with things that other people get criticized for. The shimmy. How annoying is that?
It's not.
I mean, it's, put a coat on or something if you're cold. I mean, it's annoying. It's arrogant is what it is. And yeah, I get you can back it up and stuff like that. If I were on an NBA team, I would be a goon in the line of someone from the Detroit Pistons, and I would be the guy that would go out and stop the shimmy, and I would stop it. It would stop.
For the record.
I would be suspended, but I would stop it. No irreparable harm. Just a little bit of, hey, I'm here, stop it.
That shimmy is so beautifully Razor Ramon.
Oh,
It's so, come on.
it might be a little bit Eddie, maybe a little Eddie Guerrero.
Maybe a little Latino heat.
Maybe
Viva
a little
la
Eddie Guerrero.
raza.
I gotta tell you, even though I appreciate Eddie Guerrero now, the whole time he was doing that, the shimmy, I hated it. I didn't mind the cars. The cars were sweet, but
Loved it. I don't know, man.
Keegan says, I just tuned in and saw Rob shimmy. I'm going to turn it off now. Do you shimmy on stage?
No, I play guitar.
Yeah, but you can shimmy while you play guitar.
No. I don't do a ton of dancing on stage. I'm a power stance guitar player, you know? You get down real low and you power stance, riff it out.
Zach, I'm not going to say that on the air, but I completely agree.
Oh, God. Come to the stream, facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. Join the stream, and you can leave us inappropriate comments during the show as well.
I cannot be the only one who dislikes Steph Curry. I will not believe that I'm the only one. There are people out there, people listening right now who don't like the guy.
Yeah, like 3, I'm sure.
I mean, I can appreciate his skill on the court and not like the guy.
By the way, I just went back and I found the clip from the 2016 NBA Finals against Braun's Cavs where Steph got ejected and threw his mouthpiece. And I would just like to say, after watching that, and I'll post the clip here in a minute on my Twitter at The Rob Brown Show. I would just like to say.
Wait. You're going to defend him. Are you actually going to defend that? You're going to defend that. You are.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. I'm going to defend it by saying this. At the time, Steph Curry was a star, no doubt about it, but he was not on the level of LeBron James. After a Clay free throw, that LeBron came down with the rebound, right? Steph went in for a steal. LeBron avoided him. Steph went around LeBron. LeBron stepped back into Steph. I've got the video. I'll slow-mo it. Stepped back into Steph, clearly into Steph's position, and they called a foul on Steph Curry. Now, at this point, there's a touch over 4 minutes left. Golden State is down 12. They call a foul on Steph. I do not know if it was his foul-out foul or not, but Steph turned and gave the ref the riot act, and he deserved to because it was a garbage foul. It's a foul that if it is anybody but LeBron, they don't call it. But because it's Braun, they're protecting
Rob,
him.
there's something
Steph
you don't
then
get.
walks over. Oh, I'm not done defending
Okay.
Steph
All
Curry.
right.
Steph, after being called on a garbage foul, walks over to the Cavs bench and daps up everybody on the bench. He's like, yo, it's not about y'all. I respect y'all. I like y'all. It's that ref. He's garbage. Gives him the riot act. And then finally the official's like, oh, my feelings are hurt. You're out. You're gone. And that's when Steph gets a little. I will acknowledge throwing the mouthpiece is a bit much, but the reaction wasn't.
Well, first of all, you could have had another Malice in the Palace over something like that. You throw something that was in your mouth and you hit someone in the face, you don't know how a crowd's going to react, especially a crowd that might have been, imbibing a little bit. And the other thing, as far as what LeBron did, that's Akron heat. You don't understand Akron heat. It's a turf thing. It really is. It's a turf thing. That's between those two, and it's territorial, and you're just not going to get it. There's stuff like that in Florida. Jorge Masvidal knows about that. Ask him.
Oh, that's South Beach heat.
See?
South Beach ain't part of Florida. South Beach is its own thing.
Okay, but you understand the comparison, though. So LeBron had to do that for the neighborhood. He had to do that.
Hey, Steph's from Akron.
Yeah, right.
Steph was born in Akron.
But not in the same neighborhood. And as someone from a place called the neighborhood, which is my neighborhood, I get it. Other neighborhoods, you just gotta let them know you're there.
Represent yo hood. By the way, I would like it on the record that immediately after that game, Steph Curry apologized for his behavior, which a lot of athletes would not do.
Wow, that makes it better.
No.
I'm sorry I hit you in the forehead, lady, with something that had been in my mouth for 3 hours.
Texter says,
Please forgive me.
who's more disliked, Steph or LeBron? Another texter said, Rob has made the full heel turn, defending LeBron and shimmying. What is happening? Hey, machismo.
He was defending Steph, actually.
Hey, yo. Steph gets more hate than Steph deserves. Look, you had to go to 2016 to find something to be mad about Steph. You were mad at a grudge that's 6 years old, Zoe. 6 years ago.
First of all, when you find a reason to not like someone, does that ever really go away? Especially in fandom, as far as sports goes, or even in entertainment, period. There are some people out there who absolutely hate me, and I'm good with that. And there's probably no good reason, but they hate me, and that's okay.
Not the great one.
I will tell you that Steph Curry doesn't care that I dislike him. He doesn't care. Good for him. But I can't be the only one that dislikes Steph Curry.
Zach says,
I am not on an island.
Zach says, Lil Zoe and the neighborhood boys with a Z. Miles Bridges, Trey says Miles Bridges threw a mouthpiece at a fan when they were eliminated by Atlanta. He took ownership and apologized. He's a big piece of the Hornets' future. Sometimes people get caught up in the moment. Yeah. Again, Keegan says they don't call him Sergeant Grudge. He's Colonel Grudge for a reason. That is a 6-year-old grudge over something that 9 other people have done since then. Look, I just
correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but that might have been around the time where I had to wear the stinking dress. I'm just saying.
That's what it ultimately comes
Of course,
down
it's
to.
still.
It has nothing to do with thrown mouthpieces or shimmies or anything like that. If Luka shimmied after a 3, Zoe would be in here talking about how it's the greatest dance move in the history of hoops.
Luka smiles and people get mad because they're looking for a reason, but Steph Curry can throw stuff into the crowd and it's okay.
6 years ago, buddy. 6 years ago. And he's made about 40,000 three-pointers since then.
So you're telling me that there's no player in the history of sports, which I know you can't tell me because there's a certain hockey player, I don't remember his name, but every time you say
Brad Marchand!
There we go.
Suck it, Brad!
There we go.
You're a garbage person.
There we go.
Brad sucks.
At least I talk with a smile. He gets angry when you even mention the guy's name.
Enjoy the playoffs from your couch, Brad. Go freaking Canes. Enjoy the T-box, Brad. Go Canes. Brad sucks. Dexter says Luka did shimmy in game 3. Hey. All right, we got to take a break. Steph Curry's awesome. Lonzo's mad that he had to wear a floral dress. That's all it comes down to. Texter says Brad believes in chemtrails. Probably because he's an idiot. Brad. You suck, Brad. Enjoy your couch, Brad. Brad's the worst. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
All right, Darth, let me answer your question. I would rather spend a day with Tom Brady than a minute with Steph Curry.
That is a shocking answer. An absolutely shocking answer.
Of course, if I'm spending a day with Tom Brady, I'm probably driving him around because he's drunk the whole time. But, that's all right. At least I
if I
get
had to spend the day with Tom Brady, I'd probably drink.
That is not what I said.
I heard it.
That is not what I said. Roll the tape back.
Clip
You can't roll the tape back. Well, you could, actually.
Oh, I will.
You could.
Absolutely said I'd probably drive Tom Brady around because he'd be drunk.
Well, that misstep and how I said that wrong, if you actually used that, that would
I would
that would hurt my feelings
I'm not an awful
greatly.
person.
Because that's not what I meant.
Yeah, we know. That's why it's
what
funny.
I was trying to say is that I would be his His DD. I would be his designated driver because the cars would be sweet to drive.
Last message.
97.1 FM Spartanburg.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Doing it. Doing it.
See, he killed the whole thing though. Now I may not let it happen
Why?
because
Why?
because my whole point was that you wouldn't remember.
Oh, well, I mean, I won't after today, but I'm excited about it right now.
For a financial advisor, it means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
I told Cameron it would never happen because no one would remember. And we had a discussion on the Upstate Pulse because I feel like that that I kind of have a little bit of license to the character as far as bringing it on the air, and I'm not so sure I want to share it. But in the end, I can't stop him from doing it.
Say, I mean,
But I can stop him from coming in the building, unless you let him in the building. Then, there's that.
you were going to make me make your son backdoor call into the show.
I've hung up on him on the air before. I mean, it's not.
Helen was told surgery would be her only option, but then she found QC Kinetics and was treated with natural
Trying to protect him from himself.
hair and restore tissue in her
More importantly, I'm trying to protect him from his mom because you're going to get him to say something that she is not going to be happy about.
How you're putting blame on me for something that's hypothetically happening?
You have said you want Pappy unleashed.
Uh-huh.
I do not.
I do.
I do not.
How do you not?
Because
You want to take that segment off?
Call QC Kinetics today. Call QC Kinetics 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. The following is a commercial announcement.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress.
you're right, Darth. Curry parks his cars on the white line.
Simply to play the music you love. Text
But Rob would let that go because it's Curry.
Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the
You think Steph Curry shoots the way he shoots threes, but he can't get a car between two lines?
Oh, that'd be more about attitude. I'm Steph Curry. I don't have to park in the lines.
Of all the athletes who have the I'm so-and-so so I don't have to, Steph Curry's not on that list.
Oh, for sure.
Steph's not on that
He's top 5 at least. Nothing about that guy says humble. You don't look at him and go, man, that's a cool dude. I'd love that. No.
Fan, I don't see how anyone can not like Steph. He plays with such joy. He's also a genuinely nice guy. Look up all the things he does for kids. Also, look up everything players say about him. They all love him, even Patrick Beverly, and Patrick Beverly hates everybody.
Here's football star Tony Romo for Skechers Max Cushioning Footwear.
You know when you go to your kid's game and you have to sit on those uncomfortable, super hard bleachers? That's how I feel now when I wear regular shoes. Why? Because once I start
Also, his game shows and stuff are lame.
spoiled with how amazing extra cushioning feels. It's like going to sit on those hard bleachers and someone stuck a big cushy pillow on them. Because Skechers maxed out the cushioning with a thick, comfy slice of super light, ultra go cushion.
And you could say that by a lot of major players that they do stuff in the community. It's not about that.
And they're machine washable and very affordable.
Good for them. They have money and they're willing to help people out.
Treat yourself to maximum cushion with Skechers Max Cushioning.
You can do that and still be a jerk.
Now feel the difference extra cushioning can make for yourself with ultra comfortable machine washable Skechers Max Cushioning footwear. See all the fashionable styles of Max Cushioning for men and women at the Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Let's kickstart summer together at Lowe's this Memorial Day. Keep your home nice and cool with our exclusive Harbor Breeze Hathaway 52-inch ceiling fan special value. Was $134.98, now $99.98. And get our Pit Boss Pro Series 850 pellet grill special value. Was $549, now $499. Take advantage of our summer savings this Memorial Day. Exclusively
And by the way, the whole phone thing that you showed me earlier, just to work. Just want you to know that.
Do what? The whole phone thing I showed you?
It's so 5 minutes ago. The back and forth that we had about something you showed me on the phone, you just taken away from, it's just,
I'm dumb and confused. Which is not, like, that's usual for me. The thing I showed you on my phone?
yeah.
Say it now. I'm not going on the air till you tell me what you said.
I am messing around.
Gotcha. No, it's happening.
Well, you want me to write it down?
No, I got it now. See, I'm not kidding, Lonzo. I'm just an idiot.
No. Here's the thing, because I am such a professional that here's the thing that I've heard about myself more from anybody, never to me, but about me, is that I'm really hard to read. Yeah. You know what a good straight man does? He doesn't crack. He can get through that, and you can't tell if you know if he believes what he's saying or not. By the way, I would never say anything I didn't believe. But a good straight man would say
Lonzo
that, wouldn't
said earlier he would rather hang out with Tom Brady than Steph Curry.
Oh, that was genuine. That was genuine. Let's be accurate with what I said. I would rather spend a day with Tom Brady than 1 minute with Steph Curry.
2 texts about that. One says, I don't see how anyone can not like Steph. He plays with such joy. He is also a genuinely nice guy. Look up all the things he does for kids. Also, look up everything players say about him. They call him an unselfish superstar. Hell, even Patrick Beverly loves him, and Patrick Beverly hates everyone.
There's some really bad people who do good things in the community. That doesn't make you a good guy. And as far as other players saying that they like you, it's because they want to play with you. They want to play on a team that's in the championship. What'd you say, 8 of the last 10 years or something like that? Of course they're going to be nice to the guy.
Texter says, I saw Steph at a Bobcats game right before he went pro, and he was super nice to all the fans, signed autographs, and hugged so much of the staff he knew from growing up in that arena. Super good dude. I'd like it on the record.
Yeah, and Hulk Hogan really, took his vitamins and said his prayers.
Hulk Hogan sucks.
It's all entertainment, people. You believe what you want. I mean, you can like the guy, that's fine. But that guy made me wear a dress. I'm never
letting it go.
Ever going to let that go.
All you had to do was not bet against Steph Curry. That's it.
It wasn't a bet against Steph. It was a bet for LeBron. And it wasn't LeBron's fault they lost. It was, the rest of the team.
Never LeBron's fault.
Well, in this case, it was with Cleveland, and there was no.
You have got me so up in it to try and defend Steph that you are making me knock LeBron in order to do so. And I'm not comfortable with that, Lonzo.
You're welcome.
I'm not okay with that.
You're welcome.
Hey, quick question.
Uh-oh.
As we turn left hand here. No, I'm dead serious about this. Left hand
I
turn.
would never turn left.
Next week, the SEC Media Days are taking place down in Destin, Florida, yeah? Do I go talk to the boss and see if he'll let me broadcast live from Destin next week? I don't have to. He doesn't have to really even pay for anything. I live there. I got people. I can stay there for free. I can just be there. Do I go talk to the boss and ask him to broadcast live from SEC Media Days in Destin next week to see if I can get Nick and Jimbo together on the radio show and broker a peace accord? Can I see if the boss will let me go down to Destin in order to be the couples counselor for Nick and Jimbo?
I've often thought of you as the guy who would bring about world peace.
Yeah.
So, why not?
Yeah.
Why not do that?
I am definitely not the person who fights just for the sake of fighting because it's funny to me. I'm just saying, if I could get Jimbo to sit on one side of this table and Nick to sit on the other, right? And I would bring the talking football, like in couples counseling, who only the person who has the football can talk. I can ask questions, but only the person with the football can talk. And I would give it to Jimbo first. I'd be like, hey, Jim, coach, you do know that Nick didn't accuse you of breaking any rules, right? What's your response? And then I'd hand the football to Nick and be like, Nick, you do know that you're not going to win everything every time, right, Nick? Right, coach? And we would just pass the talking football back and forth. I feel like I could broker a peace resolution between Nick and Jimbo if I'm down in Destin next week. You know, I got home court advantage. I'm from there. I'm comfortable in my surroundings. I can be like, Coach, let's head on over to the Raven Golf Course. You know, one of you rides in my cart the front 9. One of you rides in my cart on the back 9. We'll hit 18 together, and then we'll see if we can talk this thing out, right?
Wow, that's an amazing idea. I think you should go down and ask.
Yeah. The
So-
offer's on the table. By the way,
It's not going to cost the company any money because you got a place to stay.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that,
yeah.
and we know that we can take the show mobile.
Yeah.
So why not?
I would just like to say to the Southeastern Conference, to Greg Sankey, to Nick and Jimbo, I am available. I do not mean do not mean to be intrusive, but I am happy to come down and to broker a peace accord amongst the Southeastern Conference, amongst Jimbo and Nick. Jimbo, he didn't accuse you of anything illegal. By the way, like this whole thing's kind of a joke, but also it's really not, right? If I'm Greg, I'm on the phone the next day, I'm like, yo, Jimbo, he did not accuse you of cheating. And hey, Nick, you can't win everything, dog. You can't win it everything every time. Maybe pull it down a notch or 7. What do you say? Let me go from there. Anyway, SEC Media Weeks is in Destin next week. I'll be interested to see if we get any stories out of that.
Do you really believe there will be, though?
No, not at all.
I mean, there's not going to be a shaking of hands. The SEC has already kind of reprimanded them or did reprimand them, so they're going to keep them separate.
Yeah. Yeah, I suspect they will not be paired up in the coaches golf tournament on Thursday. Greg's going to walk in and be like, Nick, Jimbo, no.
I'm just picturing, Saban being driven in the golf cart because he wouldn't be driving it himself. And then suddenly out of the corner, you see this erratic driving golf cart coming. And there's
Jimbo just dukes
Jimbo.
a hazarding it around hazards. Nick! See, now let me tell y'all something. It is absolutely despicable that Nick Saban would accuse me of kicking my ball out of the rough. All right? It is absolutely despicable that narcissist would accuse me of cheating on this golf course. I'd be like, yo, Coach Saban plays tomorrow. He ain't even out here yet, Jimbo. That's despicable. Let me tell you something. All right, I believe we have to take a break. I could be wrong. Let's take a break. I know we were having a lot of fun with this discussion, but I have to ruin it by going to break. So we'll do that now. We'll come back in a minute. We got some more NBA playoff discussions, some NHL playoff to go to. What do I expect out of Travis Etienne? And what do the Panthers need to do to accomplish a winning season this year? All that and more coming up on the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
Your Jimbo thing got me, and
Yeah,
I'm just
I
listening
looked up
and
I'm like,
laughing.
we
and
are
just,
late.
No, we're good.
That is the one way he would lose me. That is the one way he would lose me. If he came out and expressed his love of Jacksonville, Florida, but Steph would not.
Wow, I can't believe that I did not look at the clock.
process was so easy. I signed all the documents and completed the process while getting my hair done.
I had my money the same day of the bike stream. Having that cash helped me get a much better deal.
The one thing I tell everyone I train is don't get so enthralled in the show that you forget your job. And I do tell them that it's easy to do and it still happens to me, and there's proof. See, here's the real problem. As you're talking, I'm seeing Jimbo T-boning the thing, and then they both jump out, they get in each other's face, and then the caddies fight.
Yep.
The caddies would fight. Neither one of them would fight. The two caddies would be going at it. Full on, no holds barred. Although if they did fight, what would be Jimbo's club of choice, and what would be Nick's club of choice?
I would say that Jimbo.
What would hold up better? I mean, of course they're going to have really expensive clubs. So you're not helping me here because I'm seeing Nick Saban pull out a big Bertha and leave the imprint on Jimbo's forehead. That would just be
I
amazing.
don't think Nick would go driver though, would he? I think Nick's more of like Nick's a 7-iron. So in golf, 7-iron is the most consistent bag in your club. You should always, because your 7-iron, you don't change anything about it's a neutral swing. I think he would do that, just basic, just neutral.
I guess I'm just thinking which club would do the most damage, which is the most solid. I guess an iron would be more solid than that because the head would snap off. But it still would be a lot of fun to watch when the head snapped off. Talking about the head of the club, not someone's actual head.
Mean watching
Yeah.
a coach's head pop.
No. I wouldn't want to see that. Keegan says Nick would go wedge because he's too small to use a driver. You've been around them. You've at least you've been around Jimbo, I know. So I mean,
Nick, actually, I've been around Nick more than Jimbo.
Okay, so I don't know their actual sizes. I mean, as far as height and stuff goes. Okay.
Nick's short.
You mean Kyler Murray short or just?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd say Nick's probably 5'8", 5'7". What else to tell you? Nick Saban is a jerk unless you can do something for him. If you can help him with something, he's actually not that bad.
So he's like Steph Curry.
You are stretching now, buddy.
Just trying to tie things together.
Yeah, I know. And take down Steph in the process. I respect it.
Continuity. That's all I care
Continuity.
about.
Texter says Dukes of Hazarding Around Hazards, award winning. Yeah, but it was Hazard County. The Dukes of Hazzard were from Hazard County. They weren't called the Dukes of Hazzard because they jumped over hazards. And when you go on a golf course, bunkers and lakes are called hazards. So the Dukes of Hazzard County would be on a golf course sliding around hazards. It made sense even if you don't like it, Texter.
Except for, to be accurate, they would have jumped the hazards. But, I get it. But it was, I thought it was wordsmith. I was amazed.
I nailed it. I know. Preferred Home Services text line's open for you, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. So yesterday, I descended down a black hole I should not have descended down on Twitter. Lady friend went to bed last night. I was staying up watching a little shooty hoops, a little baseball. And I come across a tweet asking about Deshaun Watson. It was in response to a tweet that, and I do not remember the NFL writer because I did not save it because I was tired and didn't want to. I came across a tweet responding to an NFL writer's update on Deshaun Watson. And they said, at this point, Deshaun has sat out a year. Why don't they just, quote, finish the investigation and let my dude play football, end quote. And the reason that they were upset is because it was reported yesterday that the NFL is setting another round of meetings, another round of interviews with Deshaun Watson. They're going to meet with him one more time. Now, they can't, they can do that, and they are doing that based on the fact that they have now met with the women who are bringing the lawsuits against Deshaun Watson. So they interviewed Deshaun up front. They went and they verified his claims against the women who filed the lawsuit. Now that they have finished those investigations, they will go back and talk with Deshaun one more time. Now, I told you last week that was going to be the order of operations here. It was going to be talk to Deshaun, then go talk to the women, find out what the women had to say about what Deshaun said the first time, then go back and double check the stories you got from the women against Deshaun Watson. That is not the surprising part. The surprising part is that there was another report that came out last night. And that the second report that came out last night started when Ian Rappaport on the Pat McAfee show said the NFL is setting those conversations with Deshaun this week, and the resolution might be coming soon if they were going to suspend him. But what's most interesting about this is that an NFL source told a reporter, or is being reported by Terry Pluto of Cleveland.com, is that the NFL is considering a 2-season suspension for Deshaun Watson.
Wow. Cleveland, what did you do?
Uh-huh. A 2-season suspension for Deshaun Watson. Now, I'll start with this, and this is just a brief little aside. But remember when Deshaun got that contract from Seatown? And the story came out, Zoe, that Roger the Ginger Hammer Goodell was ticked at Cleveland because he felt like Cleveland intentionally structured Deshaun. Remember, Deshaun's only getting paid $1 million this year. And he's getting like $244 guaranteed next year.
How much of that did he spend taking the offense to, what was it?
The Bahamas. I mean, if Deshaun isn't, I was going to say an idiot, but we'll see. But if Deshaun's not an idiot, Deshaun's had some money saved. Houston did pay him a boatload of money. But the story came out that Roger Goodell was really upset with the Cleveland Browns because Cleveland structured the contract of Deshaun Watson to where he would only get, and therefore, if he was suspended for a year, would only forfeit $1 million. And then the rest of it would start to kick in next year, right? So I got to wonder, Zoe, if a little bit of the reason why the NFL might be considering a 2-season suspension for Deshaun Watson is as a middle finger to the Cleveland Browns, right? Like, oh, yeah. Just a clever move there, Browns. Clever move there, Seatown. Be really, really too bad if he was suspended 2 seasons instead of 1 and you still had to forfeit that much money, wouldn't it?
The NFL is in a situation, Goodell is in a situation where it's taken a bunch of PR hits for the kind of suspensions they've given in the past for things, especially abuse. They're going to come harsher than what people think because they have to. So you err on the side of going, man, maybe that's too much, rather than going, they obviously don't care about all the allegations. So 2 years, do you think that's too much? From the NFL standpoint, I think that's the way they have to go.
Keep in mind that a lot of the instances that you're talking about here, Lonzo, were one allegation, maybe two allegations. Deshaun had 24, 22 of which have turned into civil lawsuits. By the way, real quick, because I don't want to not hit on this. The only clip I have in the folder today, Lonzo, is Rusty Hardin, who is the attorney for Deshaun Watson. Rusty Hardin was in the media in H-Town the other day and was asked if he had a timeline on when the NFL has said that they would conclude their investigation. Rusty Hardin said that he's been waiting for the NFL to kind of give him that last step. Don't worry if you can't find it. I can just tell you what he said. But Rusty basically said that he expects by the summer for this thing to end up. He expects, but here's the clip. Here's Rusty Hardin.
Well, actually, the meeting with the NFL has now concluded. We have not said this publicly, but now that they're over, we have talked to the NFL for a total of 3 days so far. I think by the time this is over, these will be the longest interviews in the history of the NFL of anybody that they're investigating. They've indicated they want to continue to do some more questioning. And so that portion is still ongoing because as of yesterday, they felt like they hadn't gone through everyone. So that's pending. I don't have a deadline. I suspect the NFL wants to conclude their investigation sometime this summer, but whether that is June or whether that's August or July, I have no idea. That's their schedule.
Texter said, is Boss Hogg his lawyer?
It does sound, I'm sensing a theme today, but he does sound a lot like Boss Hogg.
Roscoe!
Roscoe
P. Coltrane.
We can neither confirm or deny that he's wearing white while he's speaking.
And a big old hat. White Cadillac with long horns on the grill. So, the NFL has a couple of things going on here. Number one, they have been accused of not being, shall we say, harsh enough in their punishments towards those who have been accused of and settled cases for sexual harassment, Ben Roethlisberger, etc. So, they decided, Texter says, I didn't realize they hired Henry McMaster to be his lawyer. The NFL knows that, if Deshaun had one case of sexual assault against him, they could probably handle it like the ones they have in the past. But he's got 22 lawsuits and 24 accusations against him. So they can't. And I think they know that. But I also genuinely think that Roger Goodell is a little heated by the fact that the Browns structured the contract of Deshaun Watson in a way that if they brought the 1-year ban hammer down on Deshaun really wouldn't be hurt that much by it, right? He'd be out $1 million. And then next year, he gets $170 million to back it up. So if they come out, now that the contract's done, if they come out and suspend him now for 2 seasons, then either A, he has to own it, or B, the Browns have to restructure his contract again, which would serve as an addition of a second middle finger to the first one they showed to the NFL. And my question would be, then what? Because if Roger Goodell did bring the ban hammer down extra strong because of the way that the Browns negotiated Deshaun's contract, and he decided that was enough of a reason to slam Deshaun with a 2-year suspension, What would he do if the Browns then went and renegotiated it again? Which, by the way, I think they have to wait till next offseason to do. But I think they could do it again before next season starts. Talk about steam coming out of Rodgers' ears, man. He'd be heated. Then what? Does he add another year onto it? I don't know. But I do know that a good chunk of this comes from the fact that the Browns did it the way they did it as a bleep you to Roger Goodell, and the fact that most of the other guys in the past have had one instance, right? One woman claiming sexual or domestic assault. Deshaun has 24. It's really simple. So now to the people I initially intended to address with this segment. When I get on NFL message boards and I'm following around on the worst place in America, Twitter. To those of you that are going, hey, NFL, hurry up. Deshaun deserves to know where he stands. Make your decision. Deshaun deserves to know when he can play again. Hurry up, make your decision. The Browns deserve to know when Deshaun is available. No. Don't hurry up. Get it right. Don't hurry up. Get it right. Well, Rob, how will you know if they get it right or not? Well, I'm not an attorney. And I am not in the room. I don't know what those women have said in their interviews. I don't know what Deshaun Watson has said in his interviews. I don't know what the owners and the GM of the Browns have said in their interviews. I don't know what the attorneys have said in their interviews. I don't know where any of this is coming from. I don't know what anyone involved in this has said. And because I don't know, I'm not in a position to say, here's what they need to do to get it right, because I don't have the facts. I don't have the discussions. I don't have the claims or the responses to them. So, I am going to have to assume that the folks that are going to be in there, remember, I laid the whole process down for you last week about how this works. The NFL does the investigation. They have a non-affiliated third party acting as an adjudicator. They're going to give her all the information as well as their suggestion for a punishment. If she looks through the results of the investigation and she finds that there is not enough evidence to justify a suspension of Deshaun Watson, Deshaun walks. He plays this year, no problems. The fact, though, that the Browns know that process, they know that there is a third-party unaffiliated adjudicator who could say there's not enough evidence here, we're going to let Deshaun walk and play this year, and the Browns still structured his contract the way they structured it, says to me they believe a suspension is coming. They just believed it was going to be for a year.
Well, and the other thing is Baker Mayfield's still on the team.
Correct, but I think that might be, is that more because they are planning on hanging on to Baker or because there's nobody that wants Baker? Or at least not without just picking him up as a free agent.
I believe the narrative would be that no one wants Baker, but the smart move would be to keep him in case they need him or to keep him and cut him eventually. But they're keeping him. Wouldn't you? You know all this stuff is a possibility. You definitely keep him just in case. It doesn't mean Baker's will play. And if you're Baker, do you play? I don't know. In that situation, I think I go ahead and play. But we'll see what happens. But this is why you hang on to him. Because you do not bring Deshaun in and not know that this is a possibility.
Oh, I think they thought it was a possibility.
2 years.
1 year suspension.
2 years is a lot.
Right. I think they might catch a 1 year suspension, right? I didn't think they'd anticipate a 2 year suspension for Deshaun Watson. And now they're fixing to catch a 2 year suspension on Deshaun Watson. At least that's the rumors are floating around on social media.
But if you are Cleveland, from a team standpoint, you are a team that's pretty good and on the edge of doing something great. Do you risk losing all that and losing some players and things by not playing Baker Mayfield? Because right now, if Deshaun's not playing, he is your best chance to win games.
Here's your question. If you're Baker, do you want to play? Do you want to play? Part of me says if I'm Baker's agent, I say, dude, I know you don't want to play for the Browns. I know you don't want to rep the Browns. I know you don't want to wear that orange and brown again. I get it. I understand it. But my dude, we just went through an absolutely wild free agency period. We just went through a ridiculous free agency period. There was a lot going on, and the phone did not ring about Baker Mayfield, at least not that we know, right? It may have. The Browns just haven't told anybody, and the team that was looking for Baker is like, better not let it out there that we couldn't make a deal for Baker, and kept it on the hush. But as far as we know, the phone did not ring for Baker Mayfield. And if the phone did not ring for Baker Mayfield, if you're Baker, the best thing you can do is go out there, give the best you got for the Cleveland Browns, and get some tape, right? Get some film. Get something that you can send to these teams next offseason and go, hey, look, Baker Mayfield has still got him.
But then you also got all these rumors of players who are supposedly won't play with Baker and all this kind of stuff. What happens then?
I mean, if you're the Browns, again, what's your other option? Go get Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, then you've got a whole other set of problems because then you've got Jimmy Garoppolo and Deshaun on the same team. If I'm Baker, I'm playing. You still have to. He's betting on himself, but if he goes out there and he's injury-free, you've seen what he can do when he's injury-free.
I mean, they got Jacoby Brissett and Josh Dobbs on the roster right now. And Jacoby Brissett's got some PT in his past.
And good on Josh Dobbs for hanging on.
Right.
Because that dude,
I mean, he's fourth string. He won't be on a roster in 6 weeks.
I was going to say, you hear his name every once in a while. So
I don't know. If you're the Browns, I think you kicked the wrong guy when you structured Deshaun's contract. Because now Goodell's like, you gave me another reason, right? I think the NFL, as Lonzo has said, I think the NFL already had a reason to bring the wrath down on Deshaun, right? Because we've given 2 and 3 and 4 game suspensions to other guys with one allegation. You've got 24. We've got a reason to bring down the wrath. But then when the Browns structure the contract to get out of a punishment, right? It's kind of the old situation of like when Pops is about to give you a whooping and then he finds out that you put on 2 more extra pairs of pants under your pants before you got the whooping just got worse, right?
See, I think people forget the reputation that the Cleveland Browns used to have, that they wouldn't spend any money, they didn't really want to win. Then suddenly they started winning a little bit, and people forgot about that. So them making a bad decision on this is not really that much of a surprise. Can they salvage it? I don't know.
I mean, they're clearly willing to spend money because they just gave Deshaun Watson the fattest contract in the history of the National Football League for a guy they don't know if he's going to ever play again. So they're clearly willing to roll the dice. They paid OBJ. They paid Landry, and they just played Jadeveon Clowney 2 days ago. He got another fat.
See, that's my point. There was a time when they wouldn't spend any money. They started spending money and bringing players in, and people forgot that they haven't handled things really well. How many quarterbacks did they go through before they got Baker Mayfield?
78 in the last 4 years.
So I mean,
ballpark.
Don't make it sound like they make really sound decisions.
Oh no. Listen, please do not allow me to try to convince you that the Cleveland Browns are a well-run organization. They ain't. I promise. That's why we are that's why we are where we are today. Anyway, we'll find out. Deshaun looks like he has one more round of meetings with NFL investigators. Then they will present, unless they decide, by the way, the timeline presented does not necessarily mean it is an obligatory timeline. If they go through Deshaun's next round of interviews and they go, yo, 2 or 3 things Deshaun told us didn't match up with these women, let's go talk to them one more time. And then let's talk to Deshaun one more time. I mean, this could go on for a while. There is no pressure on the NFL to finish investigation in a certain amount of time, right? And I guess that's kind of what got to me on Twitter last night was the number of people that were like, oh, Deshaun deserves to know. The Browns deserve to know. No. The only people that deserve to have anything done right are the women who are at the center of this and the NFL to make sure they get this investigation correct, because not getting it right will be a huge detriment. Let's take a break. Back after this. Southeastern Conference maybe changing their postseason structure. And it's very interesting. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. All right.
And it will be shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Simple. Plus, HIMS gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. Get your confidence back at forhims.com. Love your results or your money back. To get started today, go to forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free visit. forhims.com/radio.
Jekyll here, serial entrepreneur. I hired my first employee in 1988, but I interviewed poorly and didn't provide job training. So 6 hours after she started, I ushered the tearful employee out the door without even putting her on my payroll. Yes, I hired and fired my very first employee on the same day and broke my first payroll law. I was a terrible employer. Years later, I created Patriot software to help employers with 1 to 100 employees not make mistakes with their payroll. Go to patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll processing free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The toasted cheddar chalupa is back in town. And by in town, that means at Taco Bell. So if crispy bites of cheddar cheese toasted onto a flaky shell sounds delicious too, get yourself a toasted cheddar chalupa at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only.
Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. Thank you for spending some time with us. I don't know why it took so long. Steve Spurrier has decided to jump into the Jimbo Saban drama. Steve Spurrier was asked, comically enough, by the way, who was it that decided to ask Steve Spurrier, former Gamecock and Gator great, to chip into this conversation? The Georgia website dognation.com. How amazing is that? The head cheerleader and the prom queen are having a fight with each other over a boy. And then the little trombone playing band nerd steps in and pokes the bear a little bit just to rile it up one more time. You love to see it. You love to see it. Saban got asked, do you agree with Jimbo? And Spurrier said, I don't know why he's mad at Saban. Did Saban say something that wasn't true? End quote. Love it. That was exactly the point, man. Exactly the point. Spurrier said, and I quote, Lonzo, what's your reaction to Steve? He said, quote, I don't think Saban told any lies in there, so I don't know what Jimbo's mad about. Since Jimbo beat him last year, I guess he can talk now. He hasn't beat much of anybody, but he beat Saban last year, but they haven't won the division or anything since he's been there. Did Saban say something that wasn't true? End quote. I got to tell you, I was a big Steve Spurrier fan. I remain a big Steve Spurrier fan. The head ball coach is spot on accurate here. I said that the day of the press conference, right? I said that the day of the press conference. Hey, man, what did Nick say that's so bad, Jimbo? What did he say that's wrong? What did he say that's a lie? What did he accuse you of that's untrue? And by the way, I am pro NIL, my dude. I am pro NIL. I am in the corner of NIL folks. But again, What did Nick say that you have a genuine problem with, man? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. As far as I can tell, what it comes down to is he said you paid for players. You misinterpreted that as he accused you of cheating, breaking the law, which he didn't, for the record. And then you went overboard. All right, I don't want to spend a ton of time on that, but I had to get Nick Saban's comments in there. I do want to bring this up very quickly and get y'all's thoughts and reaction to it. The SEC is going to be meeting down in Destin, Florida next week. And obviously one of the big discussions is, what does the future look like? What does the future look like for the Southeastern Conference when they expand to 16 teams, when Oklahoma and Texas jump into the mix? It's a little dramatic. It's going to be the biggest conference that competes of all time. Well, there are reports coming out, and Pete Thamel of ESPN went ahead and fielded one, that the Southeastern Conference may decide down the line to field their own postseason playoff format. That they may decide to have their own postseason playoff. Greg Sankey is still mad about the way that the college football playoff expansion talks collapsed earlier this year, again, according to Pete Thamel, and has been openly vocal about his displeasure and said that there's going to be a lot of talks within the Southeastern Conference next week about what the future looks like for that conference. Sankey said, quote, whatever collegiality? Is that a word? Collegiality?
It's like congeniality. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Collegiality.
Sounds like something having to do with college.
Collegiality, companionship and cooperation between colleagues who share responsibility.
Wow.
Collegiality.
Well,
It's very rare you get to a word. I don't know, Lonzo.
I know. The haughty one has learned a word today. Now, can you use it in a sentence later on in the day?
Sure. Here it is. Whatever collegiality existed among the 5 commissioners appears to be gone, end quote. Oh, sorry. I meant totally nailed that. That's what Greg Sankey said. The notion of the playoff expanding was, up until 2 months ago, one that the majority of us were very excited about. We're very optimistic about. Greg Sankey was one of us. And Greg Sankey remains quite upset about this. So, Thamel spent some time talking to different commissioners and coaches, and he reports that one idea that will be discussed by SEC officials in Destin is the notion of the SEC creating, running, and profiting from its own intra-SEC postseason. He says that the most obvious... Now, I thought you got 16 teams, Lonzo. I'm bad at math. But if I wanted to split 16 teams into pods instead of divisions, remember the NCAA just said you can do that now. If I wanted to split the 16 teams into pods instead of divisions, would I have an even number of teams available to do that to me? Again, bad at math, but relatively sure that 4 pods of 4 teams apiece, 16 teams.
That would be 16 teams.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. So if I have 4 pods of 16 teams, I can now have a 4-team playoff to determine my Southeastern Conference champion, right? Apparently, according to Thamel, Lonzo, an 8-team playoff is the playoff that the SEC is considering for their own playoff. Thamel reports that Greg Sankey stressed that no seismic change is imminent, but he did mention that an SEC-only playoff in a variety of forms was among the nearly 40 different models that SEC officials discussed in the fall meetings, and that, quote, as we think as a conference, it's vitally important we think about the entire range of possibilities, end quote. Scott Strickland is the AD at the University of Florida. Quote, we have an incredibly strong league, one that will be even stronger since Oklahoma and Texas are joining. The focus should be on how we as a league use that strength to further position the SEC as we face new realities. Commissioner Sankey has encouraged our athletic directors to think creatively, and an SEC-only playoff is a different idea that we should absolutely consider as an option. So what would that look like? Well, Thamel threw it out there as an idea. I want to do this. Let's take our break. When we come back, I'll tell you what Thamel's group says or Thamel's thought is. And then I want to bring back some comments that I've heard in the past from anti-expansion guys and see how it fits with this. Rob Alonso, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate.
I'm Jason Marks with your sports flash on the Fan Upstate. The Major League Baseball Reese Hoskins 3-run double in the second that set the tone for the night as the Philadelphia Phillies beat the Atlanta Braves 7-3. The series continues tonight at Truist Park. Max Fried takes the mound for Atlanta against Kyle Gibson. In the Carolina League, the Myrtle Beach Pelicans are in Augusta tonight to begin its series with the Green Jackets. In the NBA playoffs, Jason Tatum scored 31 points as the Boston Celtics jumped out early and never looked back as they take Game 4 over the Miami Heat 102-82.
Really?
Tying the series at 2 games apiece. In the West, the Golden State Warriors will look to complete the sweep tonight at the Dallas Mavericks. The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Charlotte next Sunday for the Coca-Cola 600.
Shooting back, does Tim Frisbee can't tell the difference between me and Diesel.
Kyle Busch, William Byron, and Ryan Chastain to round out the top 5. Download the Odyssey app and search for the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Jason Marks, and that's your sports flash on the Fan Upstate.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds
Nephew is watching. Let's see. Can I the screen?
people with the right experience and actively invites
Yeah,
them to apply to
it's
your
on there.
job.
You're good.
Qualified candidates fast.
He wanted to know what number my jersey is.
A lot of hay. ZipRecruiter
Number 3, buddy.
what you're looking for.
Number 3.
It's a magic number.
It is.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the
I was quoting Schoolhouse Rock, but you know.
smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. I desperately needed a car, but I didn't want to go through the hassle of trying to finance through a dealership. So I went to Lightstream, and I got a loan fast.
Now you can buy the used car you want with a fixed, low-rate loan from Lightstream.
The loan process was so easy. I signed all the documents and completed the process while getting my hair done.
I had my money the same day with Lightstream. Having that cash helped me get a much better deal. And the Lightstream payments are so affordable.
Now you can get the money you need
Nice.
for the used car you love with Lightstream. Loans start at
Lou is the best.
99%
You're the best,
with
buddy.
no pay and excellent credit when you buy from the dealership. Apply today at lightstream.com/rate and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/RATE for your extra discount. Lightstream.com/rate.
Subject to credit approval, rates range from 3.99% APR to 9.49% APR and include a 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/rate for more information.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope, we use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals
still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structure, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
You can't get much for $5 these days, unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 biggie bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT, plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $5. That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're gonna feel when you get that biggie bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price of participation may vary. Include 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole-in-one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
At Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection, even if you break the space-time continuum.
Ted, wake up. Huh? You look exactly like me. I am you, Ted, from the future. You need to call Progressive. What? Why? Well, they have 24/7 protection when you bundle your home and auto. And my teleportation cube just smashed into your car. Wait, you crashed into my car? Technically, it's our car.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, which literally means anytime. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Welcome to Total Wine and More.
I want something fun in the sand.
You'll love this tequila.
Wow, great price.
Find what you love what you find. At Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Get in the game, mama, bro.
All right, running out the clock on this hour of the show. I've been telling you about the SEC. Pete Thamel reporting that they may change to an SEC-only post-conference. He asked the question, what would that look like? He said we could see an 8-team tournament that eventually faces the winner of some other group, like the Alliance or the Big Ten. The rest of the leagues playing in a different postseason, maybe fork over their champion to the SEC, or perhaps the SEC doesn't have an opponent for their SEC champion. And the SEC just says, we're the best league in football. Our champion is our national champion as far as we are concerned.
So they don't send anyone to the national championship game. That is, how many games would this be if they do this tournament, though? How many more?
You'd have the round of 8, you'd have the round of 4, and then you'd have obviously your final. So you're looking at 4 games, followed by 2 games, followed by 1 game.
So does this start immediately after the season ends?
So here's the fun part.
Because wouldn't you rather watch this than watch half the lame bowls that are out there?
So I am not one of the there's too many bowls guys, right? Because I don't understand that. I don't understand the concept of how every year when late January rolls around, we begin the watch for kickoff. We got 200 and some odd days, 250 days, whatever it is, before the next football season. And we just sit here going, how many days, how many days, how many days? Yet when there is an opportunity to watch bowl games.
See, I think you're misunderstanding me. Here's what I'm saying is there's a bowl game on. It's the Duke's Mayo Bowl. You could care less about the teams on there.
Oh, that's the one I do care about.
But you also have the SEC tournament going on where the games mean something. The outcome means that team moves on to something else.
Here's the thing. What if it doesn't? What if the SEC does not decide to have their champion move on to somebody else? Or
No. I'm not talking about the championship game. The tournament games will start around the same time as the bowl games. So the winner moves on to the next round of that tournament.
You hear me out. There's no guarantee that they do that, right? So you get your first round winners. Okay, great. We got 4 SEC teams that move on. Second round winners. Now we got an SEC championship game
Right,
scheduled,
right.
right?
That is what I'm talking about.
gotcha.
I'm not talking about the national championship. I'm talking about so you're in the second round of the SEC playoffs. We're starting to get bowls. You're looking at it, okay, I can watch this bowl, which the outcome is great if it's my team playing, but the outcome of the SEC, the second round of that tournament, means that team moves on to the third round or the championship round. I'm going to watch that game that has meaning
But here's my question.
over the other game. And if the SEC team is crowned the champion and they don't go into the national championship, it kind of means the national championship game doesn't have the same meaning as it has
So here's
because
my
the
question.
SEC has been in every single one of them.
Right. And I get where you're saying now. So my question would now be, if I'm not an SEC guy, why does Arkansas versus Tennessee in the first round of the SEC tournament mean anything to me? Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
No. It's just the teams that you chose
There's
as an
8
example.
teams going. It's not, I mean, Tennessee's getting better. Arkansas's been decent the last couple of years. It's not a far-fetched possibility. Okay, it wouldn't be because that would, so let's go like 1v8 matchup. But again, you got this pod system, so I would assume it'll be set up college baseball style where the 4 winners of pods will play the 4 runners-up of pods, right? So Alabama wins pod A and plays the runner-up of pod D, which is Florida, behind Georgia in the pod East or whatever we call it, right? The question would be, if the Southeastern Conference champion is not going to end up playing in some sort of
It's still
genuine
more
national
interesting
championship.
than like Purdue, Georgia Tech.
Right, but the example you used a second ago was South Carolina, North Carolina, and the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Those are 2 teams that might very well be
By the
in
way-
the SEC
By
tournament.
the way, you're acting like those are going to be the same teams every year. I'm not talking
I know
about
what you
last
mean.
year. I'm talking about the bowl in general.
Right, but I'm saying-
That's the first bowl that showed up and had a chance to crack on Dukes. So of course I'm going to do that.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. So before we get too far down this path, excuse me, let me start with this. None of this is official. This is all one of who knows how many possibilities in a very cloudy picture that is going to be discussed behind closed doors at length and in detail by the SEC school presidents and Greg Sankey, the commissioner, as well as the coaches, right? Is it possible that the SEC goes, you know what? We have the strongest conference in college football. And by the way, when Oklahoma and Texas join, they will, right? It's not a discussion anymore. They will have the strongest conference in college football. It's official. If they decide, you know what? We're just gonna do our own thing over here. Then who's to say that the ACC and the Big 12 don't combine into a mega conference and do their own thing? And then the Pac-12 and the Big 10 combine into a mega conference and they do their own thing. And now we got 4 or 5 different mega conferences that each declare a champ, but they don't play each other at the end of the year. And then how do we declare a champion, Lonzo? We have the media members vote on it. My goodness, sound like the AP poll used to?
BCS.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, BCS, but at least the BCS took team 1 and 2 and put them on the damn field together, right? We may have to go back to the AP system where 150 media members vote on who they think the best team is, and whoever gets the most votes is your national champion. Boys, conferences, sit down and figure it out. I don't think NIL is going to ruin college football. I don't think the transfer portal is going to ruin college football. I think this will ruin college football. We'll talk more about it when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Fan Upstate.
All right, Trey, you and Rob are making the same mistake. You're equating the Duke's Mayo Bowl to South Carolina, and I believe Clemson's played there more than anybody. It was against Duke's. It doesn't matter what bowl. I'm going to watch the SEC over any of those other bowls around that time because none of them will be for anything that matters. I apologize for having depth to what I was discussing. I know it's unusual. I'm just controversial today. What's wrong with me?
Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds
What am I
you what you're
doing?
looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Invest wisely. Paid for by Chicken Analytics. The man who predicted the 2020 crash warns of a huge event in 2022. His name is Mark Chaikin, and his newest prediction has gone viral with 1.5 million views. According to Chaikin, who spent 50 years on Wall Street, a historic event in 2022 will cause a massive shift in the wealth divide. This will affect anyone who owns stock, says Chaikin, who accurately predicted the 2020 crash. Most people will never see it coming. Chaikin, a popular guest on Jim Cramer's Mad Money, has never shied away from sharing his controversial predictions. Now, Chaikin is pointing to a huge change in the way thousands of companies will need to do business in 2022. It'll affect everyone from Apple to Amazon, he says. Watch his full brand new warning free of charge at StockMarketShift.com/radio. Go to StockMarketShift.com/radio to learn more about 2022's huge event predicted by Mark Chaikin. That's StockMarketShift.com/radio.
Quam.
Sports Flash. Bill, we're sponsored by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? They're yours, and Progressive protects them both. Bundle today at Progressive.com. The Celtics retied their series against the Heat last night at 2-all, riding Jason Tatum's game-high 31 to a 102-82 win. Tonight, the Warriors will look to return to the NBA Finals with a 3-0 series lead in Dallas. Head coach Steve Kerr's happy to be back on the brink after many wrote off the end of the dynasty.
This is what it's about. It's the best time of the year, and to be involved in it again is special.
Blah, blah, blah.
We've missed this the last couple of years, and our guys were so excited to start this playoff run, after a really good regular season.
The Timberwolves made their front office shakeup official, bringing in former Nuggets president of basketball operations Tim Connolly. The deal he receives is reportedly 5 years and over $40 million plus ownership equity. NHL Playoffs, the Lightning finished their sweep of the Panthers with a 2-0 shutout to advance to the conference finals. And Nazem Kadri's hat trick sparked a 6-3 Avs win in St. Louis to give them a 3-1 lead. Rangers looking to tie the Hurricanes tonight at 2-all, while the Oilers try to go up 3-1 on the Flames. I'm Greg Casser.
Hey, it's DA. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
What is it about pro baseball that makes it feel just right?
Hey, Rob, what day is it?
The season is in full swing.
Tuesday.
29-degree draft beer and celebrate baseball.
Lonzo, you monster.
Eats, drinks, scenic views.
At CDW, we get the right network makes remote locations seem less remote.
Great, because my data is lagging.
Faces and Heels Day.
Orchestrate the Aruba Edge Services platform, bringing computing closer to where data is created. It automates, unifies, and secures the edge, fixing problems before they impact your business, giving your network a sixth sense. Someone at the door?
Just a moose. He works here.
Just a moose.
IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Aruba.
Let's kickstart summer together at Lowe's this Memorial Day. Keep your home nice and cool with our exclusive Harbor Breeze Hathaway 52-inch ceiling fan special value. Was $134.98, now $99.98. And get our Pit Boss Pro Series 850 pellet grill special.
Are you ready for a 3-day weekend?
It is a 3-day weekend and a NASCAR race.
I'm just ready for a weekend.
Just in general?
Well, actually, it'll just be a weekend for you, too. Because you now work on Saturday also.
Correct. But you know what I do for work, Lonzo?
Same thing I do.
host a nationally syndicated sports
You
talk
do.
radio
All right,
show.
so I don't do that.
You host.
Although we are on Twitch now.
That's true. You are national, buddy. Man, check this out. You.
I've been playing it that much, Trey. I've been still playing Elden Ring. I'll get back to it eventually, though.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. You are listening to the most energetic sports talk radio show in all the land. You are listening to the Rob Brown Show. Great to have you back. Appreciate you spending your morning with us. I am Rob Brown. He is the professor of perfection, the wizard of wave, Colonel Grudge, hashtag dad kicks, the alpha and the omega of the Fan Upstate, the conductor of Symphony of Sound that is the Rob Brown Show. He is the content cash cow, the great one, Lonzo, in charge of the board today. We have been talking about this article from Pete Thamel that came out on ESPN. And I want to get back to the NBA. I want to get to the NHL. By the way, how about the Tampa Bay Lightning? Two-time defending Stanley Cup champs, sweeping the Florida Panthers. Sweep. Get the brooms out, boys. Sweep. We'll talk about that. And Kyle Sullivan from the Locked On Podcast Network will rejoin us later this week to check back in on the Stanley Cup playoffs. Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joins us on Thursday as well. Anyway, Pete Thamel is reporting that Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, is expected to sit down and have a couple of conversations next week in Destin, Florida, with the rest of the Southeastern Conference presidents and coaches. And one of the possibilities that Pete Thamel reports is on the table that the Southeastern Conference may create their own stand-alone playoffs at the end of the year. Now, the SEC has always had an elitist attitude about themselves when it comes to football. Whether that is justified or not is subjective, depends on who you ask. As Lonzo pointed out, there's been no conference that has been more continuously involved with national championship games, be it the BCS or the playoff, than the Southeastern Conference. Ask somebody in the SEC who the best conference is. They got no qualms about telling you it's them. So now they're talking about creating a situation where they would have their own playoff after the conclusion of the regular season. What that playoff would look like is very unclear, as is the discussion about whether or not they would, actually have it, right? Whether or not they'd actually have it. Thamel says basically, well, let me quote Greg Sankey. Sankey was asked about it. Here's what he said, quote, "We need to engage in blue sky thinking, which is you detach from reality. What are the full range of possibilities," end quote. Now, I think some of us hear that, and I don't know about you, I gotta kind of sit back in the chair to think about that for a second. Because when somebody says, I need to detach from reality, ordinarily for me, Lonzo, that means I'm about to have some tequila.
Or in my case, I'm about to play a video game. Or read a book. Or whatever you do
Turn
to
out
get
the
away.
lights and put on an album.
There you go.
If you're Marshawn Lloyd, nope, wrong Marshawn. Marshawn Lynch. Got my Marshawns confused. If you're Marshawn Lynch, it means you're about to hotbox your bedroom. Everybody's got their way to detach from reality. You know who you don't ordinarily say we need to detach from reality? The boss. When he's on the job, right? Now, I will say, Lonzo, you know, we're in an interesting business. You know, our boss has said to us many times over the past few years, guys, and there's the old cliche, we need to think outside the box, right? We need to think outside the box. What can we be doing to accomplish blank? What can we do to get more podcast listeners? What can we do to increase ratings? What can we do to increase our visibility? What can we do to increase the number of people who see us at local sporting events, etc.? Think outside the box. Never once has he said, I need you guys to detach from reality. Throw every norm and expectation and every sense of normalcy out the window.
Let's face it, we are detached from reality. That's what radio is. If he said come back to reality, that would
be shocking.
That would be the opposite of the thing. I do have a question for you about this whole thing. What if this is all just to get the NCAA to expand the playoffs? What if you throw this out there to say, hey, if you don't do what you need to do, we're going to do this?
That's fair play. It's a fair question.
And arguably the most powerful conference of all.
I don't think it's arguable. I think it's a fact at this point, right?
Is saying we're going to do this. You can fix this if you expand to 8 to 12 teams.
Yeah. This is the SEC saying, I think Lonzo's got a great point. This is the Southeastern Conference saying, look, we have won 12 of the last 16 national titles. We have had 5 different teams do that: Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Florida, and Georgia. Hey, in the last 16 national championships, the Southeastern Conference has had 5 national champions. 5 different schools win one. Let's play the Rod Brown Show Home Edition. What conference is next, Lonzo, with the most national champions?
Unfortunately, ACC.
That'll be correct. Clemson and Florida State both have one. What conference is third?
I'm going to go Big Ten.
That is correct, with 1, Ohio State. The Southeastern Conference by itself, in the last 16 national championships, has more schools by itself than every other Power 5 conference combined. So the SEC is saying, yo, hold up. We want you to expand because we believe that we are, no, not believe, they are statistically, by definition, the most successful conference in the past 16 years. That's not a discussion, that's a fact. And we feel like you guys cannot have a successful playoff without us. You cannot have a successful playoff without us. You can't do it. Sorry. So, you can expand your playoff so that more of our guys can get in and more of our guys have a shot at it. Or we'll just do our own playoff. We'll just create our own thing. Because here's the thing. If we do it that way, it is going to force one of two things. Either college football fans are going to have to live with the fact that they're going to have to accept multiple national champions, which by definition you can't have one, right? Multiple national champions. Or you're going to have to create a situation where the AP or whoever votes every year on who the national champion actually is. You get to vote on who the national champion is, and once you vote on the national champion, now we just have to accept that. And I got to tell you, I think more often than not, the team that wins the SEC is going to be voted the AP national champion, right? Unless the SEC decides that they will allow their conference champion to go play. But here's the thing. Every time there's been discussion about expanding the playoffs, including, by the way, Nick Saban, every time they discuss expanding the playoffs, what's one of the loudest arguments we hear from people who don't want playoff expansion? Well, that's just more games for these kids. We care about these kids. And if you expand the playoffs, that's 1 or 2 or 3 more games they have to play. And we care. We care about these kids. This from the Southeastern Conference would be 3 more games. Right? 2 more for the 2 teams that would normally play in the national in the SEC championship. 3 more for the other 6 teams. All of and by the way, Lonzo, let me ask you a random question. How much profit do you think would the Southeastern Conference rake in if they did an 18 playoff that was just the SEC?
I'm guessing they're going to make some serious cash.
A boatload. And I mean boatload, both in the literal sense and the definition of boatload as the Rob Brown Show sense. That's how much. It will be an actual boat full of cash. A boatload. Now, all of a sudden, when there's a boatload of cash on the line, it's like, what's 3 more games, yeah? What's 3 more games for the boys? What's 3 more games for the guys? They'll be fine, right? They'll be all right. They'll be good. They got this. So, I find it interesting. And by the way, I'm curious to see if Nick Saban's going to come out, Lonzo. I'm curious to see if Nick Saban will come out and attack this one, right? I'm curious to see if Nick Saban will come out and go, well, I'm just worried that my guys are going to have to play 2 more games now, you know? Expanded playoffs, that's what it would have been. It would have been 2 more games, right? You win the SEC championship, you go to the playoffs, you play 2 extra games, and then a national championship game. This is almost exactly the same thing. And if the Southeastern Conference does decide to allow their conference champion and maybe conference runner-up to go to a playoff, that's potentially 1 to 4 extra games on top of the SEC playoff bracket. You're talking about these kids playing an NFL regular season. Close to it at this point. I'm curious to see is if Nick will come out and beat this down for the reason he's been anti-expanded playoffs. Which, by the way, why would Nick Saban be anti-expanded playoffs? Because he's in it every damn year. Why would he want to make it harder? Right? Nick Saban is all about the status quo because he kicks ass with the status quo. If you're in the 14 playoff every year, it does not make sense to expand it. If you're barely in it, it makes no sense. But if you're never in it, if you're right there on the cusp of getting in, then yeah, of course you want it to expand. Nick has said the whole time, well, it's about these kids. They shouldn't need to play more games. Well, here's the SEC saying we're going to play more games. I haven't heard Nick come out and say anything about it yet. But then again, it's not SEC Media Days yet. That's next week. Or spring meetings or whatever it's called. That's next week. So we'll see. We'll see if Nick's got anything to say about it. Here's the problem with this, Lonzo. The problem with this, and this report from Pete Thamel, is I want to be mad at it. I want to be upset at it. But there's nothing to it yet, right? Like it's just being labeled as a big, fat, solid maybe and nothing else. There's genuinely nothing to be mad at about this. It just kind of is what it is. Nothing is official. Nothing is done. It's a discussion that, frankly, hasn't even happened yet. This discussion will start next week in Destin. But if they follow through here, Zoe, if they go through with this, and if this plan comes to fruition in the Southeastern Conference, because of the power the SEC has, and earned for itself by being as good as they are, because of the power the SEC has, this would be a fundamental shakeup
By
to
the way,
college football.
I don't believe for a second this discussion hasn't happened yet.
Oh, I don't either.
This is a well thought out idea put out in the media, and this, like I said before, this is going towards the NCAA, telling them to expand. And if they don't, and the SEC does expand, I mean, they win either way. The SEC does. But this is not an idea. This is a plan.
Certainly feels that way. Certainly feels that way. It certainly feels to me like the Southeastern Conference has a plan here. They will give in to us. They will do what we wish them to do, or we will take the most successful football conference in all of college football, and we will move it to its own entity. Now, college football, the NCAA College Football Playoff Committee, they will not die without the SEC. But a lot of interest would go away, right? You lose all the SEC fans because SEC fans don't give a damn what's happening in college football outside of the SEC. I know a lot of them. The SEC fans I've been 15 years I've been broadcasting across different portions of SEC country. From Louisiana down to Central Florida. SEC fans don't give a damn what's happening in college football outside of the SEC until it's playoff time, and that's it. That's all that matters to them. We'll find out who we're going to beat for the national championship when the season ends. But they're not paying attention to college football outside the SEC regular season. So if the SEC has its own playoffs split apart from the college football playoffs, you lose the attention of 85, 90% of SEC fans and the money that comes along with them.
If you win what is the national championship without the SEC in it, can you really call yourself the national champion?
And that's the other part of it, right? The SEC fans are going to have no problem declaring the winner of the SEC tournament the national champion, and they're not going to care who says that they're not. But if Ohio State goes and wins what's left of the college football playoff and declares itself national champions, they're not going to be recognized by anybody in the South. Do you understand how Lonzo's head would explode in frustration the next day when he comes in rocking his Ohio State 2022-23 national champion shirt, and the SEC fans call in and go, "You ain't beat Alabama, Lonzo."
Well, you went exactly where I was going. I would still be ordering my shirt and my hat.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
And I would be saying you win who they put in front of you.
Yeah. All you can beat is the team that's lined up ahead of you, right? That's what we hear all the time. When the SEC's down, that's what we hear people say all the time. You can only play who's in front of you. We hear Clemson say that every year. You can only play who's in front of you, right? I know our schedule sucks, but we can only play who's in front of us. I don't know, man. Listen, you guys know me. I do not like being doom and gloom guy. I do not like being doom and gloom guy. And I think more often than not, when people on the radio are doom and gloom guy, it's because they don't have anything to actually offer to the conversation about what's happening on the field. But if the Southeastern Conference splits away from the rest of college football and creates their own playoff, and if they split off from the rest of college football, create their own playoff, and refuse to allow their ultimate conference champion to participate in the college football playoffs, that will be infinitely worse for college football than NIL or transfer portal, right? Everybody who has been forecasting doom and gloom for the NIL or because of the NIL and because of the transfer portal, I have told you you're wrong. Lonzo, if the SEC decides to go its own way, it can go its own way, and creates its own playoff, that may be the end of college football as we know it. As we know it. The SEC will be just fine. Question is, will the Michigans and the Ohio States and the Clemsons of the world be able to float a separate entity without the SEC? I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. Probably.
Those conferences aren't going to fold. It's not like they're just going to go away. Oh no, the SEC is separate. What do we do? It just will be a question among the fans about who the true champion is.
Oh, I can wait for those debates, you know? Like, I definitely can wait for those. Rob, Ohio State was 12-0 and beat Michigan. Alabama was 12-0 and beat Georgia. Who's the national champion? Gosh, if only there was a way we could figure out who was the better football team. But they don't want to play the games, so here we are. Oh, this could get bad. This could get bad. Hey, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. Lonzo reminded me, because it's his favorite segment of the week. Faces and Heels, when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Hey, Sean, what's up, fella? Welcome in, buddy. Good to have you, my man. You're better at this than me.
SEC things got torn up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good combination, anime and schoolwork. All right, so we are making progress on the spot that aired wrong earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there are 3 times when it's supposed to be recorded.
Mm-hmm.
It was only recording once.
Clearly.
And that was making it outdated. So engineering is working to rectify the situation. Now we'll just have to monitor and see if they actually fix it. Not if it's not fixed, then it's on the other end, not our end.
We're muted. Done. All right, let's see. Tayshawn says,
I'm trying to stay away from new anime right now, Tayshawn. I'm on episode 576 of One Piece,
I cannot commit to that.
and they're up to like 1050 now. I think 1050 just released.
I could not commit to that.
And I'm waiting for the next season of My Hero to come out. I don't want to get in the middle of jumping into something else because
Watch him as he goes.
Scott Stapp did not sing that song, but you know he could. He could. I don't know. Would Dave Grohl be like offended if Scott Stapp sang that song? All right, disappointed. Had a Mexican pizza and it wasn't as good as I remembered, and it could have been how it was prepared. But
From the fast food restaurant?
yes,
I've gone to 3 since they came back, and every time I go, they're out of them.
the sauce is not the same as it used
Really?
to be. Yeah.
I will tell you this. I found out that you can buy the sauce that Taco Bell puts on their quesadillas. You
Mhm.
can just buy that from
Yeah.
the store now. I have 3 bottles of it at my house. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Lonzo's favorite segment of the week. It is time for Faces and Heels, where we take a look at some socially ambiguous situations, try to find out who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who's the face, who's the heel. I got asked last week, what does that mean? Face and heel is it's wrestling terminology. The baby face is the good guy, the heel is the bad guy. So we look for who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. I love this one, Lonzo. I love this one.
I don't. When you get excited,
love this one.
I do not like that.
All right. 37-year-old woman is single, does not have any desire or intention to get married. She is not dating anyone. She is by herself. She said, I like my time, I like my money, and I like my 2 dogs and my 2 cats. She said, my 2 dogs and my 2 cats live a life of luxury because I make a ton of money. I don't have kids. I don't want kids. I like my dogs and my cats and my house to myself. I got a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house with a lake view. She says 1 bedroom is for me. 1 bedroom is for my office and my hangout room. And the 3rd bedroom, Lonzo, is just for the pets. The entire room, I'm reading what she said in her letter. The entire room is modified. Several things on the wall for cats, beds, toys, and a door that leads to the backyard. I like to sleep alone and in peace, which has already proved ineffective when sleeping with all of them. So they have their own bedroom. She closes them in the bedroom. They all have their own beds. They got the whole room to themselves, and they got a doggy door to be able to go outside and do their business when she goes to bed. She wakes up in the morning, she lets them out. Well, her parents, who are in their late 60s. She said, ever since I told them that I have no interest in getting married and I do not want to have kids, they have been a little disassociated from me. We still talk, but after I told them they would not be having grandkids, they kind of cut me out a little bit. Like we don't talk anymore. All the talk about inheritance, although I don't care about it because I make a bunch of money, is out of the window. Still my parents, I still love them, but we're just not as close as we used to be since I told them now that I'm in my late 30s, I don't want to have kids. Well, they called her. They said we lost our house. There were some issues with a new mortgage company taking over. They lost their house and asked if they could stay with me. I said, sure, but you'll be sleeping in the living room. They said, you have 3 bedrooms. She said, I know, but bedroom number 3 is for my pets. You will not be taking the pets' room from them, If you want to stay here, you can sleep in the living room. She said, since then, I've been getting bombarded by messages from other family members saying it is unfair that they are in a hotel spending what they shouldn't have to, and that next week they'll be in a homeless shelter because I won't let them move in with me. Lonzo, is she a face or a heel?
First of all, I mean, it's her money, it's her house. She can do whatever she wants. If she wants the pets to have their own room, that's fine. If she wants to be crazy cat lady, which is what it sounds like, even though she has dogs, she sounds like crazy cat lady. If the parents are desperate enough and they need some place to stay, they should be willing to stay in the living room. That's really what it comes down to.
Right. You damn right.
Been pretty desperate before myself, not to the degree where I lost everything, but still, I mean, so the dogs are the heel.
No, Fido! I'm not a good dog. I'm not a bad dog. I'm just the dog.
It's hard to call the parents the heel when they lost everything.
It is hard to call the parents the heel until they started telling other family members that the daughter wouldn't let them move in, because that is not true. That is not true. She said you can move in, but you're going to live in the living room until you find a place to get up, right? Until you find a place to get back on your feet. Can't move in permanently, but you can stay on the couch. You can stay in the living room. You can put an air mattress down. You can live off the couch, whatever. I got to tell you right now, when I left Jacksonville, I was very close to being homeless. My mom was like, yo, get in here, right? And I will be forever grateful, because without that, I probably would have been when I lost my job in Jacksonville. Without that, I would not have been able to afford to get up here for my audition and ultimately to move up here to take this job. I will always do whatever I got to do to bend over backwards for the mom, right? But here's the other aspect. My mom knows I don't have kids. My mom knows I don't want kids. She still loves me, right? She didn't write me out of the family. She didn't stop talking to me. She didn't start talking bad about me, right? If your parents birthed you, they are.
So your situation's a little bit different though, because there is a grandchild already and things like that. Just not.
I don't care even if there wasn't, right?
Okay.
I don't care even if there was not. I still would not want a kid.
I think her being an only child makes it a little bit different. And I get that. I get that feeling as someone with grown kids. You kind of want to see your name move on and things like that.
It is also not your life.
You're right. It's not.
It's also not your life.
I get it. It's not. And there's a difference between a want and like writing someone off because they won't do that.
I know for a fact that there are going to be family members of mine, probably are and haven't told me about it, that are disappointed that my dad's name stops with me, right? I'm the third. For those of you who don't know, I am a third. My dad's name stops with me. And I know there are going to be people upset, but I also know what I want out of life, and that ain't it. That ain't it. If she don't want kids, she ain't got to have kids. Mom and dad should not be because the thing is, while she should have a certain level of respect for them as her parents, she's also a 37-year-old woman, and they need to have a certain level of respect for her and her own decision-making process. It's not going both ways, so that's where they become the.
I'm just hoping that someone cleans the dog and cat room, because it might
dude. Doggy doors, man. It's game changers.
Yeah, I know.
Now somebody's got to go clean the backyard. And you forget to clean that yard for a couple of days. Woo.
Litter box, too. And how do the dogs and cats exist in the same room together?
Oh, my dog and my cat get along great.
Yeah, but see, that's singular. It's one dog and one cat.
That's true. Fair enough.
Because you got a tag team going on now, and then it becomes different.
We got another one. This one's fresh, too. My 33-year-old woman and her 30-year-old husband got married last weekend. Said it had been super chill through the whole wedding planning. During the actual event, the ceremony went exceptionally well. The reception was going well. She said, before the wedding, I told him, I don't care what he does. Have fun with your friends, drink as much as you want, hoot and holler, raise a good time. I'm here for all of it. There is one thing I don't want you to do. Please do not smash the cake into my face when we do the cake thing, right? Please do not smash the cake into my face. I don't want to mess up my makeup. I don't want to mess up my dress. And if you do that, that's going to happen. Please do not smash the cake into my face. She said, well, Comes the cake cutting. What does he do? Smash the cake into my face. Got on my dress, makes up my makeup, just like I knew it would. I'm pretty sure his friends convinced him to do it. Not that it makes it any better. I kept it together, went and cleaned myself off, and put on a smile for the rest of the reception. But afterwards, I let loose on him, yelled at him that he was the one thing I asked him not to do. She also said that he is a prankster. He's always been a prankster, and she has always loved his pranks. It's one of the things that endeared him to her, is that she's always thought his pranks were funny, though she's never really been the victim of them. She said, this is the first time one of his pranks really got to me, but it's the one thing I asked him not to do. Face or heel, that he did the thing that attracted you to him in the first place when he was doing it to other people, but now you're mad at him for doing it to you.
All right, before I tell you who is the face or the heel here, I will tell you that I was in the exact same situation.
You got told don't do the cake thing?
The exact same situation.
Did you do the cake thing?
And as we know, I
am still married?
Well, there's that.
I'm assuming
almost 30 years. There's the I had peer pressure going on. Oh, come on, you got to do it. You got to do it. Come on, you got to do it. It's a tradition. You got to do it. You got to do it. And she asked me not to. So you know what I did? I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because she asked me not to. And he's the heel. You guys are starting a relationship, a lifetime together. You have plenty of other times to get a prank or two on her if that's what you want to do. But if she asks you not to, you don't do it. And it's not a private thing. It's public. It's out in front of everybody. And trust me, I have family members going, oh, come on. You know you're going to do it. You're going to, even to the point where you hold the cake up there and it's like, nah, I'm not doing it. You go ahead and take your bite. We're good.
Nailed it. I'm with Lonzo on this one. I don't even need to add to that. He's spot on. He's spot on. Look, you married a prankster. You were never the victim of the prank. I get it. That's fun. Haha. Yo, it's a wedding day, right? If it's at like a 4th of July pool party, right? And you're like, please don't hit me with a cupcake. And he hits me with a cupcake. That's one thing. It's like, all right, dude, go inside, wipe it off. You're going to be fine.
Well, trust me, I've had wrath come on me, like after watching it and then balloons showing up on the side of her bed. I mean, probably not the best thing that I've ever done, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But you know what? That was just me and her. You don't do it in front of a bunch of people. You just don't, especially when she asks you not to.
It's not even about, it's the wedding day.
It really,
right?
yeah.
Because here's the thing. You're done with the reception. Or you're done with the cake cutting. You're not done with the reception. There are still pictures and videos and whatnot. You still got to do the leaving the thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't care about traditional wedding festivities, right? If me and the lady friend
except for the giving of gifts to the bride and the groom, I think you should.
No, just pay for my honeymoon. Call it a
you
day.
should. Well, it's still giving of a gift.
Enough.
I mean, you should respect that part of it.
When I say the traditional stuff, right? Like all the traditional wedding stuff, it doesn't matter to me. If she wants it, I'm all in. If she doesn't, I don't care. I have like 3 things I want at a wedding reception. I want a live band, I want an open bar, and I want it not to be during a sports season. That's it. Right? Spring, late spring. That's what I want.
But when is it not sports season?
After the Stanley Cup playoffs, but before football season starts. That's your window. There's your window.
But not WrestleMania weekend.
But obviously not. Well, WrestleMania weekend is well before the Stanley Cup playoffs are over.
You're right.
Every year.
You're right.
End of the Stanley Cup playoffs until football season. That's your window. Late spring, summer, early fall. Fall, pardon me. That's your window. And I don't care about like the traditional ceremonial stuff, right? If you want it, great, I'm in. And if you don't, I'm okay. I want an open bar, a live band, and no sports on during my wedding. Like, not like no sports. I mean, like, no sports are happening, so we're not missing anything. And
so you're not going to ask for like the bagpipes to be played as the wedding march or something like that?
No. What I want is a string quartet version of the Star Wars theme song when I walk up the aisle.
Sweet.
Yeah. And I've got signed off on that, by the way. I've got the approval for that. So if she asks you not to do a thing, and you do that thing at the wedding day, that's a jerk move. Now, if she never says don't do that thing, and then you do that thing, hey, fair game, dude. Fair game, right? If she doesn't say don't do this and you do it, and she gets mad at you for it, you played the game, whatever.
It's fair game if you know how she's going to take it. If you know that she's going to be, if you've been dating for a while, and
You
you're
should
getting
know
married,
the reaction.
you would know what you're
Right.
going to get from that.
My
Yeah.
old man used to tell me, if you ever pop the question, you better know the answer before you ask it, right? If you're going to smush the cake, you better know she's going to be cool with it. Because otherwise, you are going to get, Lonzo, the look that my mother gave to my father at cake time, which says what about the cake smash? This will be your last night.
Yeah.
Your first night married, your last night alive if you hit me with that cake.
I can tell you, I'm not going against that look.
No.
I'm not going. It's like, okay.
For those of you on the stream, Madre just sent me the cake time reception picture from my parents, and the look from the Madre is, I blanking dare you, Bob. I dare you, Bob. Try me. Try me.
I'm guessing since she sent you the picture that he didn't do it.
I'm guessing since they stayed married that he didn't do it, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. All right. One more? We got home for one more, right? It's
All
Faces
right.
and Heels.
Well, hurry.
It's Faces and Heels. It's the best one. All right. 20-year-old woman, 21-year-old friend are both in college. They've been rooming together and said that they have gotten on pretty well with each other. Everything's been fine. She said, I am relatively petite. I don't have much of an attitude. She goes, I'm like 5'2", 105, right? So she's a little bitty thing, but she's 5'2", 105, right? The roommate is not. She a little bit bigger, all right? She thick. Put an extra C on the end of it, thick, right? Well, Z made dinner one night and made like a lot of dinner. And they sat down and she said, I had my one plate. It wasn't even like a full plate, like half a plate. And then I was like, thanks for dinner. I'm done. While the roommate was on like plate number 3, right? Like serving number 3. It's okay. I'm a big boy. I can say this. I'm a 3-plate dinner guy.
We don't know the size of their plates. They could have been like,
I mean, come on. Based on this story, I feel like we got context exclusive, but maybe not.
when you're 5'2" and 105, everyone looks fat to you.
True story. Fair enough. So she said, I'm done. The roommate was like, no. You can't eat half of that and wrap it up. She's like, no, seriously, I'm done. She said it is weird, disordered, and not normal to not be able to finish a plate in one sitting. The girl said, I'm not hungry anymore, but I'll hang out while you finish eating. The girl's like, I don't want to eat in front of you, but I'm still hungry. It's weird that you're not. Are you sure you're not anorexic or something? Well, this set off roommate number 2, who said, you are projecting. You are rotund. Don't get mad at me for not, because I am capable of watching what I eat. Shockingly, they're not talking anymore.
Wow.
Shockingly. I'll go first on this one, Lonzo, because I've set you up for all the other ones. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Can we stop shaming each other for what they eat or don't eat, right? Just as it is bad to go up to person on plate number 3 and go, hey, are you sure you need another slice of pizza, Rob? I feel like that's enough, Rob. That's piece number 6, Rob. The exact opposite is true as well. If somebody says, I've had one slice and that's enough for me, I'm done, leave them the hell alone. When you have hit comment number 6 on somebody's eating habits in either direction, do not be shocked when they go off on you. All right? If you come up to me and go, that's slice number 6, and I go, don't make me breathe hard so you blow away, you twig. Or if I go to somebody skinny and go, hey man, maybe try another sandwich. And they go, maybe stop trying sandwiches, fatty. Don't be surprised when somebody hits you on the blowback. Roommate number 1, who made multiple comments about how much her roommate was not eating, is the heel. You don't know why they are or are not. Leave them alone.
All right. She's the heel, but here's the reason why. Obviously, her cooking is not very good. If it was, the skinny girl would not be so skinny.
All right. Twitter Trending Topics wraps us up when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo, and this is the Fan Upstate. What's cracking? Texture says, Rob, how's the diet going? Too soon? No, it's really not. It's going pretty good, actually. It's going pretty good. I'm threatening to get back under 250. So, I got a real problem with WWE, 2K specifically. I'm playing through the career mode. I've been a face since the Performance Center. I've been a face all SmackDown.
So weird choice for you. I would have thought you went straight up heel first.
Oh, I want to pour everything into my heel bag guy, so I just wanted to play the face storylines first. So I go face. I'm face all the way through. I get to a storyline on SmackDown where so I've played all of the story modes from Adam Pearce and from the other wrestlers. So now it's left to like the fan storylines, you know? And there's two, and one guy's like, there's three in a row. I need you to break a kendo stick over Apollo Crews's back. I need you to beat Jeff Hardy in a cage match. And I need you to hit your finisher on Morrison so I can get a picture of it for my social media. Cool. So I do the picture of Morrison first. But he kicks out of my finisher, or out of my finisher like 3 times before I finally landed on him. And when I do, it knocks him out. Then I take the kendo stick challenge. I beat Apollo. But obviously, in order to do that, you got to hit him like 90 times to get him to stay down, because you also have to hit him on his back. You can't just break it. And then I beat Hardy in the cage match. And when I'm done with the Hardy in the cage match, it says, your actions in the most recent few matches have caused your alignment to change. You're a heel now. And I'm like, yo, what? Because there's still like 6 face storylines that are open for me on SmackDown. And I'm like,
oh, that sucks.
Because when those 3 showed up, I kept declining them, and there were no other option storylines until I finished those. So I guess you have to play through those, and then it'll open face alignment back up for me. But it was kind of agitating.
I'm glad you've prepared me for what will happen to me, probably.
I mean, I will acknowledge that it's perhaps like something I did without realizing it.
All right, time for Twitter trending topics where I tell Rob what is trending and he tells us why. Charles Barkley is trending.
Chuck is the freaking best, man. Here's the best part about Chuck. About 3 weeks ago on Inside the NBA on TNT, Chuck got caught up and said something that was completely innocent, but it came across as like overtly sexual, right? And he didn't intend it to because he's Chuck Barkley. He just hadn't thought it out. And so he said something, and I don't even know, like, honestly, I'm not even comfortable repeating it, quoting Chuck, right? But he said something that was like overtly sexual about basketball. It wasn't like it was completely innocent. Well, last night, he did it again, except for now, because 3 weeks ago, he said something that was dramatically sexualized about basketball. Now everybody's listening for him to do it again, and last night, he did it again. Now, that also comes after Chuck Barkley walked onto the set of Inside the NBA on TNT, riding a horse, to which Kenny said, "Damn, that horse got a strong back." But the best part is he got there. This is in Dallas. He gets to the set, he goes up there, and of course the Dallas fans are pumped, right? Because they think Chuck's riding in on horseback. He's calling for the Mavs comeback. And he gets on stage, and they're like, "Who you got?" And he's like, "Warriors in the sweep." These fans are about to be really upset. Like, it was incredible. Chuck is having the best 2-week run of anybody on TV right now.
All right, here's why he's trending. They actually put this up on why he's trending. People share their reactions to Twitter thread of analyst Charles Barkley's funniest moments. So he's trending just because he's funny.
So Chuck said 2 weeks ago, again, I'm not even comfortable repeating it. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I'm just not comfortable repeating it. Chuck got taken to task, and then Chuck did it again last night and rode the horse in on the set. And we all saw the Chuck bus a couple of weeks ago that Shaq got for him, right? And now people are just going, dude, Chuck Barkley. And by the way, if Chuck Barkley wants to be president next time around, I'm all in. Let's let Chuck be president for 4 years and see what happens. We'd have the funniest damn country in America, I'll tell you that.
Can't be any worse than what it is right now.
Has been for a long time. Let's take a break for 21 hours. Then we're back to do it all over again tomorrow. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. You're listening to the South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year, The Rob Brown Show, right here on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Thanks for watching, stream. See y'all tomorrow.